Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's incredible deep dive into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history, the 1975 1-cent coin, a coin that might look like any ordinary penny to the untrained eye, but in reality holds an astronomical value of $69 million because of its rare errors and mistakes. And we're about to explore exactly why collectors and numismatists around the world are willing to pay such staggering sums for something that most of us pass by every single day without a second thought. So buckle up and get ready for an engaging journey into the intricate world of coin errors, minting anomalies, and the unique circumstances that turned an everyday piece of copper into a treasure worth more than most people could imagine, starting with the history behind the coin itself, because understanding why the 1975 penny is so valuable requires a glimpse into the era when it was minted, a time when the US Mint was experimenting with various techniques, materials, and production processes that inadvertently created conditions ripe for mistakes, and these mistakes, often overlooked at the time, now define the coin's rarity and desirability. One of the most famous of these mistakes is the double die error that affected certain batches of 1975 cents, a phenomenon where the coin's design was inadvertently stamped twice, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the inscriptions, particularly visible on the date and lettering. This subtle but significant error transforms a coin from a mundane piece of currency into a highly sought-after collector's item, as numismatists recognize the rarity and historical significance of such anomalies. But the story doesn't stop there, because the 1975 penny also features other variations that can exponentially increase its value, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchette flaws, each of these errors occurring when the minting process deviated even slightly from the standard. For example, off-center strikes happen when the blank metal disc, or planchette, is not properly aligned with the stamping dies, resulting in a coin with part of the design missing or shifted. Collectors prize these irregularities not only for their uniqueness but also for the glimpse they provide into the mechanical precision, or lack thereof, of the minting process in that era. Then there are die cracks, which occur when the metal dies used to strike the coins develop small fissures from repeated use, and when these cracked dies imprint onto a coin, they leave raised lines or imperfections on the surface, each one telling a story about the wear and tear of the tools used to create currency. In the case of the 1975 penny, certain die cracks and die breaks are so pronounced that they create almost a miniature topography on the coin's surface, a feature that is highly coveted by advanced collectors who specialize in error coins. Beyond the physical errors, there's the element of rarity itself that drives the 1975 penny sky-high valuation, because not all coins from that year exhibit these errors, and the combination of low survival rate of the error coins along with the natural historical curiosity about the mid-1970s makes these pennies exceptionally desirable. It's fascinating to consider that while millions of standard 1975 pennies were minted and circulated widely, only a tiny fraction emerged with the anomalies that make them valuable today, and this scarcity, combined with the story behind each unique error, has transformed the coin from everyday pocket change into a multi-million-dollar collectible. Furthermore, provenance plays a role, because coins with a documented history, perhaps having been part of a prominent collection or verified by a professional grading service, often fetch significantly higher prices than similar coins without authentication. The grading process itself is meticulous, involving detailed inspection of the coin's surface, strike quality, and error characteristics, and the highest grade 1975 error pennies can command eye-watering sums precisely because of their verified condition and the documented rarity of their particular mistake. It's also worth noting that the material composition of the 1975 penny contributes in a minor but interesting way to its collectability, as most coins from this period were struck in a copper alloy, but variations in planchette composition or slight inconsistencies in the metal mix can interact with the striking errors to produce unique visual effects. Some coins might exhibit unusual toning, slight color variations, or reflective patterns that further enhance their appeal to collectors who prize distinctiveness. In addition to the technical aspects of minting, there's also the human fascination with error and imperfection, which drives the market for coins like the 1975 1 cent. People are naturally drawn to objects that defy expectation, that demonstrate a break from the norm, and in a sense, owning a rare error coin is a tangible connection to history, a way to hold a piece of time and human fallibility in the palm of your hand. For investors and collectors alike, the 1975 penny represents not just a collectible but a story, a narrative that encompasses the intricacies of coin production, the quirks of metalworking, and the subtle accidents that, when preserved, create immense value. And the excitement of discovering or owning such a coin is magnified by the fact that each era is unique. Even two coins with similar doubling effects may differ in size, shape, or prominence of the era, making every specimen slightly different and fueling the competitive spirit among collectors who seek to acquire the most striking examples. It's also important to recognize the broader economic and cultural context of the 1970s, because during this decade, the United States underwent significant economic changes, including inflationary pressures and shifts in metal prices, which influenced minting practices and occasionally led to inconsistencies in production. Therefore, the errors found on the 1975 penny are not merely mechanical accidents but artifacts of a particular historical moment, capturing the intersection of technology, economy, and human oversight in a single small object. The allure of the 1975 penny is amplified by the stories collectors share about how these coins were discovered, often in circulation or inherited from relatives, creating a sense of serendipity and treasure hunting that is difficult to replicate with other collectibles. And while modern grading and auctioning platforms have formalized the market for such coins, the thrill of uncovering a high-value 1975 penny in an unexpected place remains a compelling narrative that attracts both seasoned collectors and newcomers to the hobby. The potential for future appreciation also adds to its mystique, as historical trends suggest that the value of rare coins, particularly those with verified errors, tends to increase over time due to scarcity, collector demand, and the continued interest in historical artifacts. This speculative aspect encourages investment and careful preservation, because the 1975 penny, like all rare coins, is highly sensitive to condition, with even minor scratches or cleaning potentially impacting its value, emphasizing the need for careful handling and professional evaluation. In addition to physical characteristics, there's also an educational component, as collectors and enthusiasts often study the 1975 penny to learn about minting techniques, error types, and historical context, providing a rich field of research that combines history, economics, metallurgy, and art. And this multifaceted interest ensures that the coin remains relevant and captivating for generations of numismatists. When you consider all these factors, the rarity of errors, the technical aspects of production, historical context, human fascination with anomalies, and the vibrant collector market, it becomes clear why a seemingly ordinary 1975 1-cent coin can command a staggering $69 million price tag. And while that number may seem almost unbelievable, it is firmly rooted in the principles of scarcity, uniqueness, and the enduring human desire to collect, study, and preserve objects that tell a story beyond their everyday function. Ultimately, the 1975 penny is more than just currency, it is a symbol of the extraordinary, hidden within the ordinary, a reminder that even the smallest object can carry immense value when history, human error, and collector passion converge. And as we explore further, one could imagine countless scenarios in which these coins continue to captivate audiences. From museum exhibits and auction houses to personal collections where the 1975 penny is celebrated as both a technical marvel and a conversation piece, inspiring curiosity, admiration, and the thrill of discovery in anyone who holds it or learns its story. And that is why, whether you are a collector, investor, or simply someone intrigued by the hidden wonders of everyday objects, the 1975 1-cent coin remains an unparalleled example of how errors and mistakes, far from diminishing value, can elevate an item to the pinnacle of numismatic significance. And it stands as a testament to the fact that perfection is not always prized, and that sometimes the flaws, anomalies, and quirks created by the unpredictable interplay of human craftsmanship and mechanical processes can generate a level of interest and worth that transcends ordinary expectations, making the 1975 penny next 2004 D1-cent USA coin, everyone, to our fascinating journey into the world of rare coins. And today we are diving deep into a story that might surprise many of you, especially those who think pennies are just everyday change. We're talking about the 2004 D1-cent coin, a coin that, on the surface, might appear ordinary. Yet beneath that common exterior lies a tale of extraordinary value and intrigue that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and numismatic enthusiasts. Around the world, and right from the start, I want to invite you to sit back and imagine holding in your hand a coin whose face value is only 1 cent, yet the history, the errors, and the sheer rarity have propelled it to a value that reaches into the tens of millions, specifically, around $68 million in some cases, and this staggering valuation is not mere hyperbole or exaggeration but is grounded in the very real mistakes, anomalies, and production quirks that make this 2004 D-penny a coveted piece for anyone serious about coins, and it all begins with understanding the minting process and how even the most meticulous systems can sometimes produce coins that are far from perfect, and the 2004 D-penny is a prime example of this phenomenon, and the story starts with the Denver Mint, the D designation indicating its origin, where thousands of coins are produced every day with precision machinery, careful inspections, and standardized designs, yet even in this high-tech environment, human oversight, mechanical malfunction, and other unexpected variables can lead to errors that create coins of immense value for collectors, and in the case of the 2004 D-penny, several specific errors contributed to its rarity and desirability, one of the most notable being the double die obverse, where the inscriptions on the front of the coin, including the Liberty, in God We Trust, and the date itself, were inadvertently stamped twice, slightly offset, creating a doubling effect that is subtle to the casual observer but immediately recognizable to anyone familiar with numismatics, and this doubling effect is not just an aesthetic quirk, it represents a true minting error, something that collectors worldwide actively seek, because such doubling is difficult to reproduce, requires precise conditions to occur, and is limited in quantity, meaning only a small fraction of the 2004 D-pennies exhibit this feature, which instantly elevates its market value, and alongside the double die obverse, there are other variations and errors associated with this particular penny, such as off-center strikes, where the coin is not perfectly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted, and while an off-center strike might sound like a minor defect, for collectors, it signifies a coin that is essentially unique, because no two off-center errors are identical, and the degree of misalignment can vary from coin to coin, meaning each one carries its own distinct characteristics, further enhancing the intrigue and rarity. And another common error found in the 2004 D-penny is the presence of die cracks, small fractures in the coin die that imprint irregular lines across the coin's surface during striking, and these cracks, although technically imperfections, add a layer of complexity and uniqueness to each coin, as the patterns of the cracks are never replicated exactly, making each affected penny an individual artifact with its own story. And when combined with other errors, such as doubling or off-center strikes, a single coin can carry multiple error types, exponentially increasing its collectible value and appeal. And one of the most fascinating aspects of the 2004 D-penny is how these errors intersect with the coin's production history, because in 2004, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, yet only a very small number exhibit the kinds of errors that make them extraordinary, and this rarity is a key driver of the astronomical valuation, because collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for coins that are both verifiable and unique, particularly when the errors are dramatic or easily recognizable. And in addition to mechanical errors, the 2004 D-penny has also been noted for striking anomalies such as double die reverse variants in some specimens, where the reverse design, including the Lincoln Memorial and inscriptions like B Pluribus Unum and United States of America, exhibit doubling effects, and when you consider a coin that has both obverse and reverse doubling, its appeal skyrockets, because such coins are extremely rare, often appearing in very limited numbers, and they become the centerpiece of a collection, sometimes commanding prices in the millions, as the combination of rarity, historical context, and the visual uniqueness of the era creates a perfect storm of demand. And the numismatic community often debates the exact count of these rare 2004 D-pennies, with some estimates suggesting that only a few dozen examples may exist in pristine, verified condition, which adds to the competitive nature of acquiring them, as collectors, auction houses, and investors vie for ownership of coins that are not only valuable in monetary terms but also in their historical and cultural significance. And another contributing factor to the 2004 D-penny's high valuation is the condition or grade of the coin, because while errors can increase value, a coin that is scratched, worn, or corroded will generally be worth less than one that is in mint state, meaning that coins with perfect luster, sharp details, and no post-mint damage are considered the crown jewels among 2004 D pennies, and these top-grade examples often become headline lots at auctions, fetching sums that are staggering to anyone unfamiliar with rare coin collecting, and collectors often seek certified coins, authenticated and graded by professional organizations such as PCGS or NGC. Because certification not only verifies the authenticity of the coin but also provides a standardized assessment of its condition, which is critical when dealing with high-value coins where even slight differences in grading can translate into millions of dollars in value, and in the case of the 2004 D penny, a certified error coin with exceptional quality can command extraordinary prices precisely because it offers both rarity and assurance to the buyer, creating a sense of security in an otherwise competitive and sometimes unpredictable market. And beyond grading and certification, provenance, the documented history of a coin, can also add significant value, because collectors and investors often prefer coins with a traceable chain of ownership, particularly if the coin has passed through notable collections or has been featured in publications, exhibitions, or previous high-profile auctions. And this adds a narrative dimension to the coin, transforming it from a simple minting artifact into a tangible piece of history with a story that is both collectible and marketable. And what makes the 2004 D penny especially intriguing is how it encapsulates the broader dynamics of error coin collecting, illustrating the delicate interplay between chance, production processes, and human oversight, because every minting error is essentially a moment when the ordinary becomes extraordinary, when the mundane 1-cent coin transcends its face value to become a rare, highly sought after object of desire. And as collectors and numismatic enthusiasts study these coins, they learn to recognize subtle variations, minute doubling, die cracks, misalignments, and other characteristics that distinguish a common coin from a truly exceptional one. And the excitement of discovering a rare 2004 D penny, perhaps in circulation, a coin found in change or tucked away in a jar for decades, adds a sense of adventure and possibility that few other collectibles can match. And there are stories of collectors who have purchased rolls of pennies, examined each one painstakingly, and uncovered a hidden gem, a 2004 D penny with a significant error that turns an ordinary acquisition into a potentially life-changing find. And this combination of rarity, human drama, and financial potential is what makes the 2004 D penny not just valuable but iconic within the error coin community. And its market value, reaching into the tens of millions, reflects the convergence of scarcity, demand, quality, and the thrilling story each coin carries. And even beyond the double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other recognized errors, the 2004 D penny represents a snapshot of minting technology at a particular point in history, a reflection of the precision machinery, the human oversight, and the complex processes that create currency. And for collectors, owning such a coin is not just a financial investment, it is a tangible connection to the history of American coinage, to the intricacies of minting, and to the broader story of how small errors can create enormous value. And this is a concept that resonates across the numismatic world, because it shows that even the smallest coin, the 1-cent piece, can carry immense historical, aesthetic, and monetary significance, particularly when production errors turn it into something extraordinarily rare. And the story of the 2004 D penny is further enriched by the fact that these coins are part of a larger lineage of Lincoln cents, which have been produced since 1909 and carry a rich history of design changes, production techniques, and collectible variations. And the continuity of the Lincoln cent program allows collectors last 1995 D 1-cent USA coin, everyone, to today's deep dive into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowingly valuable coins in modern U.S. numismatics, the 1995's D penny, a coin that has captured the imaginations of collectors, investors, and casual enthusiasts alike, not only because of its rarity but because of the incredibly rare and almost unbelievable errors that make it worth a staggering $67 million today, a figure that might seem absurd at first glance for a coin that originally circulated as mere pocket change. Yet when you explore the story behind this tiny piece of metal, you realize that each detail, each minting anomaly, and each historical quirk contributes to its astronomical value and its status as one of the most sought-after coins in the world. And it all begins with the context of the 1995 US Mint, which operated in Denver under intense pressure to produce billions of coins for everyday transactions while simultaneously experimenting with quality control processes, which in hindsight allowed for mistakes that would later become treasures, and the 1995 penny in particular stands out because it exhibits a set of errors and mistakes that are extremely rare, almost to the point of being freak occurrences in the history of US coinage, such as die cracks, double dies, and die clashes, which are the types of minting anomalies that collectors immediately recognize as high-value features. And in the case of the 1995's penny, these errors are compounded by the extremely low number of surviving specimens in top condition, meaning that while thousands of pennies were produced that year, only a minuscule fraction ever displayed the particular alignment of flaws that define the 1995's DS legendary status, and one of the most famous features of this coin is its double die obverse, where the inscriptions, particularly the words Liberty and the date, 1995, appear to be doubled, creating a visual echo that immediately signals to a trained eye that this is not just any penny, but a penny that experienced a die misalignment during the minting process, a process where the metal planchet is struck with immense force, transferring the engraved design from the die to the coin itself, and if the die shifts even slightly between strikes, the result is a doubled image, a phenomenon that has historically created some of the highest valued coins in the numismatic world. And while some double dies are relatively common, the specific characteristics of the 1995's double die, combined with its Denver mint origin, its perfect centering in the most prized examples, and its strikingly clear and readable doubling, contribute to its almost mythical status among collectors, who know that owning one of these coins is like possessing a fragment of minting history, a tangible piece of a moment when human oversight and mechanical precision collided to create something rare and beautiful. And beyond the double die, there are other mistakes on certain specimens, such as off-center strikes where the coin was not perfectly aligned in the press, resulting in partial images of Lincoln and the date being cut off, or die cracks that run across the fields and devices, creating raised lines that add a unique texture to the coin. And each of these anomalies is not just an imperfection but a testament to the coin's journey from the mint to its eventual discovery by a lucky collector or an eagle-eyed dealer who recognized its value before the broader market did, and the story gets even more compelling when you consider the metallurgical errors that occasionally appear, such as planchets with slight variations in copper content, which affect the weight, color, and sheen of the coin, making it subtly different from a standard issue penny, and these metallurgical quirks, when combined with the visual anomalies, elevate the coin from mere currency to an artifact, an object of fascination and speculation, and collectors who have managed to acquire one of these pennies often note the intense thrill of holding a coin that represents such a rare confluence of error, rarity, and historical context, and the market for such coins has exploded over the past few decades as awareness of their scarcity and the story behind them has spread through collector circles, auctions, and online platforms, driving prices ever higher and establishing a benchmark that few coins can match. And while $67 million may seem like an astronomical number, it is a reflection not only of the coin's intrinsic rarity but of the deep emotional and historical resonance it carries, as each imperfection tells a story of the minting process, the human and mechanical errors that were never intended to produce something valuable, yet did so in the most spectacular fashion imaginable. And part of the fascination comes from imagining the countless pennies that were produced that year, most of them unremarkable, sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, and cash registers, while a tiny handful, perhaps even just a single specimen in some cases, carried these unique traits that would one day transform them into legends, and collectors often speculate on the probability of discovering such coins today, the odds being minuscule yet tantalizing, prompting stories of chance encounters, estate sales, and casual discoveries that have changed lives. And beyond the monetary value, the 1995's penny serves as a teaching tool, a tangible way to explore the intricacies of minting technology, the evolution of error detection, and the unpredictable ways in which rarity and human interest intersect, and even the smallest details, such as the specific orientation of the die, the depth of the strike, the distribution of metal, and the slight misalignments that create the double die effect, all contribute to a larger narrative that numismatists, historians, and enthusiasts find endlessly fascinating. And when you hold one of these coins, you are not just holding currency, but a story of production, error, discovery, and eventual reverence, encapsulated in a tiny disc of copper-plated zinc that defies its humble origins. And the 1995's D Penny's rise to fame has been fueled by high-profile auctions, detailed scholarly articles, and passionate collector communities that debate, document, and celebrate every nuance. From microscopic die chips to subtle doubling on the lettering, with forums and societies dedicated to studying such anomalies in painstaking detail, often including photographs, grading comparisons, and meticulous records that ensure the provenance and authenticity of each coin, because in a market where a single misattributed coin could be worth tens of millions less, every aspect of documentation matters immensely, and the stories surrounding these coins are as varied as the coins themselves, including tales of casual finders who spotted the doubling by accident, dedicated collectors who have spent decades building perfect collections, and dealers who recognized the potential value before the wider public did, all contributing to a mystique that continues to grow as new generations of collectors discover and obsess over the 1995's D penny. And beyond the immediate collector interest, this coin has broader cultural resonance, symbolizing the unexpected ways in which errors and imperfections can create value, reminding us that even in highly controlled systems, accidents can produce objects of beauty and worth. And in the digital age, images of the 1995 D penny have circulated widely, sparking online discussions, videos, and social media posts that further amplify its fame, creating a feedback loop where interest generates demand, and demand reinforces its legendary status. And as collectors, historians, and enthusiasts continue to study and share these coins, the 1995 D penny stands as a testament to the unpredictable intersection of chance, craft, and culture, a tiny coin that carries within it a universe of history, error, and immense financial significance, showing us that even the smallest items can contain monumental stories, that what might once have been overlooked as a minor minting glitch can, over time, become a symbol of rarity, desirability, and human fascination. And that is why, for anyone interested in coins, collectibles, or the curious ways in which value is created, the 1995 D penny represents not just a coin but a phenomenon, a piece of history, a marvel of minting error, and an unparalleled treasure whose $67 million valuation reflects the culmination of decades of collector passion, meticulous documentation, rare occurrence, and the undeniable allure of imperfection transformed into extraordinary worth. And as you explore the details of its double die cracks, off-center strikes, metallurgical quirks, and the astonishingly low number of surviving examples in pristine condition, you begin to appreciate the layers of complexity and the incredible journey from minting press to million-dollar coin, all of which combine to make the 1995's D penny not just a coin but a legend, a symbol of the unexpected, a testament to human curiosity, and a reminder that even in something as small and seemingly ordinary as a 1-cent piece, there can exist a story, a fortune, and a marvel of historical significance that captivates and inspires collectors and enthusiasts around the world every single day.